So, I think we need to have a bit of a discussion right now. We're already getting reports, rumors, speculations as to the next generation of consoles with the PlayStation 6 and the Xbox Series X2, whatever the heck Microsoft calls their next Xbox. Like, my gosh, Microsoft just has terrible naming for its consoles. But more so, we're getting reports and speculations that these consoles could be launching as soon as like 2027 and possibly even 2026. Rumor from last year with about the next generation Xbox. Now, I'm just going to be flat out, I'm just going to say it to all of you. Like, we haven't even gotten fully current generation games that are just made for the current generation. I mean, yes, we got a select few, we got some. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart was a good one for the PS5. And Borderlands 4 is coming out in just 2 days. So right now on your PS5 or Xbox Series X or S console, you can immediately pre-download Borderlands 4. But guess what? Call of Duty Black Ops 7. That's coming to the last gen systems. Now, that's supposed to be what we've heard. This is supposed to be the last Call of Duty game that is going to be coming out for the old gen Xbox One and PS4. But all the other games, like last year's, years before, we've gotten cross-generation games longer this time around than we did with the last generation from the previous gen before it. Like, games that were coming out for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, like, they were still coming out at least 2 years, 2.5 to almost right around 3 years. And then after that, it was just permanently only on PS4 and Xbox One. Here on the other hand, we're already now going to be hitting 5 years of the PS5 Series X's life cycle this early November. 5 years. And yet, we got Call of Duty Black Ops 7 that's coming out on the last gen. Now, I ain't upset about that or nothing. Like, I know some people are, but I'm not upset of the fact that we still kind of on some games are still getting cross-gen games. What I am saying, though, is it's just too soon. Next year, 2027, it's too soon for a new generation of consoles when we're barely haven't even got that many games for the current gen systems already as a whole, even if you count the cross-gen games like Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok on the PlayStation side. Then you look on the Xbox side, Forza Horizon 5, which is now available on the PlayStation as well, but also Halo Infinite and a couple other games. So, I mean, like, there just hasn't been very many games as of yet. And we're only talking like 3 Assassin's Creed games. Yeah, we got plenty of Call of Duties. GTA 6 hasn't even came out yet. It's coming out next year. And that game's already getting ready. Well, it's coming out in May of 2026. So in a way, like, why are we talking about next generation already? And it coming out very soon when we, like, don't have very many games. And then we, of course, got the big game, GTA 6, next year that's coming out for the PS5 and Series X, and it's supposed to be PS5 Pro Enhanced. And that's another thing, too. Sony just released the PS5 Pro not even a year ago. Not even a year ago. It came out literally in November of late 2024. So, and it definitely has, some games do have some nice enhancements, and some actually, you can't even really tell a difference at all. And some actually, even if you don't tell a difference, do have slightly better, smoother frame rates and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's still a newer recent console with upgraded visuals and just upgraded, CPU, well, not CPU, but GPU and freaking RAM and all that stuff. Like, it's still an upgraded system. So why are we talking about getting a new gen as soon as 2026, 2027? It's too soon. It's just too soon. Like, yeah, I think the earliest we should get these new systems is 2028. But even then, some of you might still also believe that's too soon. And you might think probably 2029 or 2030 is smart. And personally, I think it would be. And here's another thing too. In terms of visuals, graphical fidelity, and just performance and whatnot, like, are we really going to see a difference in graphics if we go to the next gen? I really just don't think we're going to start seeing big jumps like we've did before with all the other past previous gens. PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2, huge jump. PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3, huge jump. Because not only you went from standard definition, but you went up to high definition. And it was a clear difference. Now, there's where things start going back the opposite direction. PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4 was a decent upgrade. Not as a huge difference as like the PlayStation 2 OG Xbox to the PS3 and Xbox 360, but it was still a substantial, decently jump in performance and visuals. Now, we go to the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X from the base Xbox One and PS4, and it was not a huge jump, but it definitely was a noticeable one and worthy. But when we go from the Xbox One X, PS4 Pro to the PS5 and Series X, not really much of a graphical leap as what you would have expected. So even then, like, games still honestly hold up on the previous gen in terms of visuals and whatnot. And especially if you have a PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, it's just, they're still going to look good and still look like really new, clean, modern. Because the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X were the first ever 4K gaming consoles, and we're still playing in 4K in 2025. And the PS4 Pro launched in 2016, and the One X was launched in 2017. So here we are in late 2025. We're still gaming at 4K. Now, I don't think we're going to be going to 8K like I was saying, and probably until the next generation of systems. Hopefully, they come out later on down the road and not soon, as in the next 1 or 2 more years. Because, I mean, are you really going to see a difference in visuals? Like, I don't believe you will. I think, like, the current generation we got is some of the best looking visuals, graphics that, honestly, I think we're ever going to see. Now, I could be very well wrong, and hopefully I am, and the next generation does have some teeny bits of upgrades that we can tell the difference. But, I mean, even then, I mean, if you go from a PS4 Pro, One X, to the Series X and PS5, I mean, it wasn't really all that much different. At least if you have a 4K television and you were playing at 4K on your PS4 Pro or One X and you got the Series X and PS5, you probably are going to like, yeah, dog, there wasn't really much of a difference. So even then, visuals on the previous gen, especially the enhanced 4K last gen systems, still actually hold up very well in 2025. Even if a base PS4 still looks actually good. It may not be 4K, but it is a solid 1080p console. It played 99.9% of all the games on the PS4. It played them 99.9% 1080p. So the PS4 is a solid 1080p console, and games honestly still look decently good on there. Even GTA 5, heck, even Red Dead Redemption 2. Even though that game looks stunning at 4K on the Xbox One X. I was about to say the PS4 Pro, but it plays at native 4K on the Xbox One X. PS4 Pro, it's not so much, but it's a halfway 50% in between 1080p and 4K on the PS4 Pro, but it's still a decent bit crisper than the base PS4. But if you play it on the base PS4, 1080p, RDR2 still looks stunning. So even then, even on a base PS4, games actually can still really hold up very well. Even at 1080p, even if you're playing on a 4K TV, it'll definitely help with 1080p games look a teeny bit crisper. So, why? Why are we talking about next generation already, when we're just now going to start beginning to just get games for the current gen consoles we got, and with the release of the PlayStation 5 Pro? Bro, we don't really need these consoles right now. We developers can make games for what we got now, and I think that's what they want to do. I heard a YouTuber talk about, and I believe it's true. I believe that's what they want. But, a new gen as soon as, 2027, dude, it's too soon. It is way too soon. The PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S are still great consoles with huge amounts of power. They're still good. They are still good, and developers would much rather just continue to develop for those consoles for at least a couple more years. So, I totally get it. So, games ain't going to be a huge graphical difference like they're trying to make it out to be, saying this is going to be the huge jump with the next-gen Xbox from Sarah Bond, and then PlayStation 6 with all these rumors and speculations and how it's going to be like a gigantic difference and whatnot. Bro, it's not going to really be a difference that much. I almost promise you it won't be. Because ever since starting from the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 to the PS4, Xbox One generation, and then to the current gen, it just gotten lower. Lower to tell a difference. It's not as huge of a jump as the PS1 to the PS2 and the PS2 to the PlayStation 3. That was huge jumps in graphics and just hardware at the end of itself, with better graphics on the PlayStation 2 than the PlayStation 3 360, with HD support to make your games look really clean and crisp. And honestly, I think the last bit of an upgrade that actually wowed us was actually going from a base PS4 to the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One to the Xbox One X. That was the last time we were wow, with terms of clarity, visuals, and all that. Now, we were still a little bit with the PS5 and Series X, but not as much. And the PS5 Pro, it also did it as well with some games, and then some games they weren't that much of a difference, but I'm still happy to buy the PS5 Pro. So, honestly, ever since I bought the PS5 Pros earlier this year, I hope we don't get next gen until as early as 2028. But even then, some of you out there might think that that's also too soon. So, just let us know in the comment section down below of your thoughts if you think that this is actually way too soon of next generation, and do you agree about visuals not being as much of a difference from the last gen systems and whatnot, and what do you think about all this, and do you honestly think that developers do want to just focus on what we have now for a few more years longer? Let us know in the comment section down below if you think the rumors and the next generation systems coming out sooner is just too soon, and what do you think about PS5 and Series X, and do you still think that they're great consoles that can actually probably last a long time? So, let us know in the comment section down below. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.